Welcome to Sales Chaos TV. My name is Dan Waldschmidt, business strategist, author, speaker, founder of Waldschmidt Partners International, and runner. Although a little sore today after 15 miles last night.
15 miles, well, that's
15 miles.
impressive.
Yeah, not well. It's I'm trying to work up my distance, but it didn't. Yeah, I kind of ran out of steam a little bit there. By the way, it's not about my running. This is all about social media and marketing and sales chaos. Hence the name. And my partner today is Todd Schnick.
I'm Todd Schnick with the Intrepid Group. I help organizations become intrepid marketers, writer, author, speaker, and also a distance runner.
I know. Every episode we say this, and it's like, you know, we could have some very, very similar bios. Well, today, look, we put 12 minutes on the clock, and we're live right now. We actually are going to keep the bios and fun times short today because we've got a very important subject talking about what should your social marketing plan or what should your marketing plan look like in 2012. So we're lucky today because Todd obviously runs a marketing company, Intrepid Marketing, and so I was thinking, why don't you just take it away and tell us?
Well, you know, let's talk about marketing planning. It's an essential part of your organization. Marketing is an integral part in terms of, and we've talked about how it integrates very importantly with sales. Yeah. In fact, we've made the case that marketing is sales.
Is sales.
Any event. See, when I talk about marketing, we're approaching 2012, and in fact, it's already too late. You should have already have your plans in place and your ideas and a general strategy in place for 2012. But see, I look at marketing planning as a 7-step process. One, it's identifying, all right, is there a market for what I have to sell? Are there people who actually need and want what I'm selling? 2, you have to understand your customer. I mean, who are they?
Yeah.
Where are they? Why do they buy? How do they buy? Do they buy online? Do they buy in the store? You have to know those kinds of things. 3, how am I going to educate the marketplace? How am I going to tell my story? How am I going to motivate them? How am I going to inspire them to help them understand why they need my service? 4, you got to focus on a niche, right? You can't be a mechanic and say, hey, I fix cars, so a good lead for me today would be anybody you know who owns a vehicle. Well, that doesn't help anybody because everybody they know owns a vehicle. So you say, I focus on Jaguars.
Yeah.
Because then it's easier for someone to say, oh, you know, I have a neighbor down the street who has a Jaguar, so I can give him his name. It's a lot easier for people to help you with that. 5th, this is the fun part, that's the tactical part. How do you deliver this message? Is it social media? Is it direct mail? Is it television advertising? Is it print ads? It's hot air balloons, whatever it is to deliver that message, that's the fun part. 6 is, and this is where I think most businesses fail, Dan, is that it's, all right, how do I actually become profitable? All right, if I need to sell 100 widgets a year to be profitable, how many people do I have to talk to sell 100? Do I have to talk to 1,000 people? Do I have to communicate and send marketing material to 1,000 people to sell 100? Okay, so you have to know those numbers. And so many organizations I work with, they have no damn clue what those numbers are. And the final part is, all right, what's it going to cost me to communicate with 1,000 people? So that's your marketing budget. So that's a 7-step marketing plan. That's how I build my marketing plans for my clients.
And you, I think that's two records there. One, that you actually knew that succinctly without looking at your notes. There are no notes here, by the way. I'm just making that up.
Well, there's notes, but they're just props,
and
which you can't see.
And 2, I think the record is me being quiet while listening.
For like almost 3 whole minutes.
Almost 3 whole minutes, exactly.
That's
but
impressive.
What I like about that is, for those of you listening, is that the 7-step plans don't start where you see a lot of social media experts on the web talking about, which is tactics. I think I counted 4 steps. The 5th step, if I'm right, was the social media. Is that right?
That is the critical point of this.
So 5. So there's 4 steps. I was mentioning to Todd before we went live on the show in the studio here was that, you know, one of the things that I've even struggled with was getting my story straight. And not that I'm not saying the right story. It's just, you know, I was a CEO of a company and things were very clear. We were driving a mission. Now as a business strategist and leading a company of strategists, that, you know, people say, what do you do, right? And you have to be clear about, we only service Jaguars, right? And that, because people may think you're a great person. They might think, wow, that's a very talented mechanic. But if they don't know that you're the best mechanic for Jaguars, then guess what? They go to the guy who does service Jaguars, who may not be the best service. They just don't know that you do that. So
well, here's the thing. You can fix any car.
Yeah.
So a Chevy or Ford or a Rolls pulls into your garage, you can help that person.
Right.
your marketing message has to be more focused. Because you've all been there. I cited this example a minute ago, but you've been to a networking meeting where when you're doing your little elevator pitch, you say, "Well, a good lead for me today is," and you explain who a good lead is. And someone says, "Someone who owns a car." Well, what are you going to do? You're going to give that person your entire Rolodex because everybody has a car. You can't help that.
Yeah.
You can't help that guy.
That's right.
Because it's overwhelming to give everybody you know. So you have to. That's the best example I've ever come up with in terms of how to help someone understand the value of the niche in the marketing. So you focus on a specific model, and then everybody knows someone who owns a Jaguar, and then you can say, yeah, Bill Jones I know down the street has a Jaguar. So that's how the importance of that. That's what some people struggle with.
We have 7 minutes left, so we've burned about 5 minutes, and I want to go back to those 7 steps again, okay? And I know we'll take a little bit more time for each one, but let's start at the top. You're saying before you even market a thing, did I hear right that step number 1 is see if that market even makes sense? I mean,
is there market?
You said it differently.
Don't open a dry cleaning establishment if there's 3 other dry cleaners on the intersection. Is there people that need to buy what you have to sell, and that requires research and work and thought.
So do you go into companies and say, like, shut this down? It doesn't work. It's
well,
not
if they're
work?
Struggling, that's one of the things we have to look at. Is there actually a marketplace for what they're trying to sell?
That's ballsy.
Well, that's what it takes, and that's why people struggle.
So you're saying step 1 for people watching is assess whether you should still be doing the type of business that you say you want to be doing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's thought provoking, right? Now let's think about.
Is it really surprising to you?
I think it's surprising because I think a lot of us.
What's surprising is that most people don't do it.
That's right. We don't do it, and we think as entrepreneurs or as executives that somehow if we keep doing enough stuff, if we enough tweeting, enough Facebooking, it's going to work. And what I hear you saying pragmatically is maybe not. Maybe you're wasting your time when you could be thinking about what is viable. Right? So what was step number 2?
Well, understanding your customer.
That's right.
Who are they? Where are they? Why are they buying? How are they buying? Right? So you can't.
How do you do that? How do you do that though?
Oh, it's all kinds of research.
Okay.
It's out there. It's interviews. It's focus groups. There's a million different ways that you could figure
By
out.
social medias.
Oh, sure, you can use those tools as well. It's the commonly talked about in the world as people chasing shiny objects, right? So the newest thing happens, and so you start doing it. Everybody jumped to Google Plus when it was new and fresh and cool and hot. What the problem is, people take the 5th step, which is deciding how the message is delivered first. Mm-hmm. When they have no idea, that's why you have to understand your customer. Where are they? How are they buying? Why are they buying? To be able to effectively say, what tools do I need to use to deliver that message to them? Because if they're not on Google Plus, well, then I don't know if I necessarily have to spend time there. That's right. I think there's value in spending time on those tools, as we talked before, in terms of cultivating new relationships.
That's right.
But those are the things you have to understand before you effectively employ the right tactic.
Well, step number 3
is building your story, is communicating on how it boiled very simply is what is my elevator pitch? What do I do? How do I help you?
Yeah.
And a lot of people. How many times have you been to a networking meeting where someone butchered their 30 seconds because they don't have a good way of telling who they are and what they do?
And this is a lot of emotional laziness. This is solved by sitting down and writing this down, and then rewriting it, sharing it with people.
You're continuously evolving.
That's right. But for not to have that, it's inexcusable.
Yeah.
It's inexcusable.
Yeah.
And you can do this right now when we're done with this in 4 minutes and a couple seconds. What's step number 4, Todd?
It's narrowing down your niche.
Narrowing it down, okay.
And determining the right focus.
Well, and like you mentioned, the Jaguar, I'll just play off that because it is a great a great example, is that for many of us, we ask for help. And I know people email me, they'll read my newsletter or they'll engage with me online, they'll say, do you know, and they'll ask, can you help me with this? And I'll usually say, can you be a little more specific? And I just find myself saying that because it's like, hey, can you help me grow my business? Well, chances are we probably can't. But
it's pretty broad.
Yeah, what are you trying to do? And when you say grow, do you mean grow as in people, as in number of Twitter followers, as in revenue, profit? What do even the difference between profit and revenue is significant. I mean, so you can't just say. So I think for people who've been asking me for help, it's like, okay, well, you got to be specific because people like us, we want to help you. That's why we're doing this show. We want to help you, but you have to be specific with us, or to the people you're marketing to, they're just so busy that you go, hey, we fix cars. They go, great, congratulations. No, we can fix your Jaguar sitting in your driveway. Oh, now
Well,
it's
the reason
personal.
people struggle with their business, large or small, is that they have a niche that they're an expert in, but they're spending too much time trying to do too many other things,
Oh.
and so they struggle. Or
Yeah.
they're trying to reach too broad a market. There's 6 million people live in Metro Atlanta where we are right now. I can't market to all 6 million people to fix their car. So you got to whittle that focus down
Yeah.
to a very specific kind of vehicle. And there's plenty in a market of 6 million people. There's plenty of opportunity for you. So
I want to go back to what you just said. I think was brilliant. It might have been one of the best lines I've heard in all of our shows, which is like you as readers or listeners and watchers are incredibly brilliant in probably one thing, and you're spending very little time doing it. That's what I heard you say. Is that you're doing everything else, and that's where you're losing on your marketing plan. So you're really good at one thing, and you're trying to be the jack of all trades, and now you're nothing, or you're not as effective as you could be. What's 5?
Well, 5 is the tactics.
Tactics, yes.
Let's not spend time on that, but I want to focus on number 6, which is
Okay.
another step that a lot of people don't do in their business, is what does it take to actually be profitable, right? And so
Keep the lights on.
You know, if you have to sell 4 consulting gigs a year, or you have to sell 1,000 cars, or you have to sell 50,000 widgets, or whatever, you have to know what it is. What's your target goal? How many do I have to sell? But more importantly, all right, to sell X, how many people do I actually have to speak to? Because you're not going to sell everybody. So you have to. The why is all right. So if I have to sell 50 of this, I need to talk to 1,000 of these
That's
people because I'm not going to close everybody. And so that's the key. Problem is, people are trying to sell 50, and so they're only talking to 50 people. Then they fall short, and they say, "Why am I falling short? Damn it!" So they're not talking to enough amount of people. And so that's the marketing budget then, which is the 7th point. Is all right. What's it going to cost me?
Yeah.
To talk to 1,000 people. So what happens with small businesses is they say, "Oh, I've got a marketing budget of $1,000."
Yeah.
Well, the reason they're struggling is because that's not enabling them to talk to enough people to sell the amount of widgets they need.
This is we're out of time, but this is we should do another episode on this because this is brilliant. I've actually learned a lot today just in listening to Todd speak about this. Is that if you need 5 gigs this year and you're going to have to talk to 50 people to get 10 appointments to close 5 deals, you're not selling to 5, you're selling to 50. So if you're trying to grow your sales this year, and you're using marketing to help you do that, you might need to talk to 5,000 people to get 10 jobs, right? And how much is it going to cost you to get those, 5,000 people?
That's what you have to prepare for. That's how you have to plan your day. Is how do I talk to the right amount of people?
Well, your watch says 000.
We're
It said
at
that.
000.
It said that the whole time, but it's confused me a little. But we're out of time.
All right. Well, you can find me at toddschnick.com.
You can find me at danwaldschmidt.com.
That wraps this episode of Sales Chaos TV. On behalf of Dan Waldschmidt, I'm Todd Schnick. We'll see you next time on Sales Chaos TV.